The radio crackled with chaos. Gunfire roared through the headsets. A pilot's desperate voice cut through the static. "We're hit. We're going down." And then silence. Gary Gordon didn't need to see it. He could feel it in his bones. The second Black Hawk was down, in the heart of Mogadishu, surrounded. Above the burning city, his helicopter banked hard. From the open door, Gordon could see the black smoke curling from the crash site. The streets alive with armed men pouring in from every direction. His training told him exactly what was happening down there. The crew was alive for now, but minutes away from being overrun. He grabbed the headset. "Put us down. We need to get to that site." The answer came back cold, clipped. "Negative. Too hot. You won't make it 5 minutes." Gary's jaw tightened. He looked to his partner, Sergeant First Class Randy Shughart. No words were needed. They both knew the math. Hundreds of armed fighters, just 2 of them, no escape route. Still, Gary keyed the mic again. "Request insertion. We can hold them off." Another negative. Higher command wasn't going to throw away 2 elite Delta operators on what they saw as a suicide mission. But Gary Gordon had never measured a mission by whether it could be survived, only whether it had to be done. For the 3rd time, he asked. This time, his voice carried no urgency, only certainty. "Put us in." A pause, the longest of his life. Then, "Roger." Insertion approved. The Black Hawk dropped low, rotor wash whipping the dust into choking clouds. Gordon and Shughart jumped into the street, weapons up, moving fast. The sound of their helicopter faded, and then it was just them, 2 shadows against a city at war. They sprinted through the debris-strewn alley toward the crash site. The downed helicopter's tail rotor was buried in a wall. Smoke and flames licked the sky. Inside the shattered fuselage, pilot Mike Durant was still strapped in, dazed and bleeding. Gordon's voice was calm. "We're here now, Mike. We'll hold them." The first wave came quick, a dozen militia fighters firing wildly as they rounded the corner. Gordon dropped to a knee, his M14 snapping off precise, deliberate shots. Each round found its mark. Shughart shifted to cover the opposite street, methodical as a metronome. They worked like a machine, moving, covering, reloading, each trusting the other completely. Years of training distilled into perfect, deadly rhythm. But for every man they dropped, 2 more appeared. The street was a funnel, and the enemy knew it. Bullets slapped into the Black Hawk's twisted frame. A round tore through Durant's leg. "We can't hold them forever," Shughart called out, not in fear, but as a statement of fact. Gordon's eyes scanned the rooftops. A sniper's mind never stops hunting angles. He knew they were being boxed in. They had to buy more time every second they could. The second wave hit harder. RPG streaks hissed overhead. Shughart took a round in the arm, but stayed in the fight. Teeth clenched. Gordon moved to his side, covering his reload, each trigger pull as steady as if he were at a rifle range. And still, they didn't back away from the wreck. They stayed because the man inside it couldn't move. Gary's voice cut through the chaos. "Mike, if we go down, you pick up that rifle and keep fighting. You understand me?" Durant nodded, his face pale but determined. By the 3rd wave, the street was a graveyard. Smoke hung heavy in the air, stinging the eyes. Gary and Randy were both running low on ammunition. Gordon's mind calculated 2 magazines left, maybe 3 minutes of sustained fire. He looked at Shughart. Both men knew without saying it, they wouldn't be leaving this street alive. And still they fought. When Shughart went down for the last time, Gordon was the only one left standing between the crash and the mob. He moved with deadly precision, dropping fighters at 200 yards, then 50, then 20. The crowd was closing like a tide. A final burst of gunfire tore through him. He staggered, turned back toward the cockpit one last time, and laid his rifle across the pilot's chest. "Make it count," he told him. Then he stepped back into the fight, buying the last seconds of life for the man he'd come to save. Gary Gordon never left that street. Neither did Randy Shughart. But Mike Durant lived to tell the story. And the world would learn about 2 men who asked to be sent into hell not because they thought they could win, but because they refused to let a brother face it alone. Iconic lines from the story. Put us in. 3 words that became his legacy. We're here now. We'll hold them. The promise kept until the last breath. Make it count. A final order and a final gift. For their actions on the 3rd of October, 1993, in Mogadishu, Somalia, Master Sergeant Gary Gordon and Sergeant First Class Randy Shughart were posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the first since the Vietnam War. Their courage remains one of the most revered acts in modern U.S. military history. Some heroes fight because they're told to. Others fight because they're ordered to. But the rarest and the greatest fight because they cannot stand by. Gary Gordon knew he wouldn't come back. And he went anyway. Wherever you're watching from, take a moment to remember the men like him. Silent until they're needed, relentless until the end.